Good morning, everyone. Nick here. And on this channel, we have a ton of fun. We don't suffer that much. Well, today we are going to suffer. If you follow me over on Instagram, you know I am obsessed with setting goals and, more importantly, achieving those goals. And at the beginning of this year, my physical fitness goal that I set for myself was to bike 100 miles in one day. Now, the longest ride I've ever done is a 50 miler, and I could barely walk after that. But a goal's a goal, and today we're gonna tackle this one. All right, do I at least look the part, Ryan? Guys, I promise it's supposed to be like a 70 and sunny day, but we have to get started early because this is gonna take me like 20 hours. All right, God, this is gonna hurt. Should we just do it in the parking lot? 100 miles in the Run Gum parking lot. All right, you guys, first stop's gonna be Coburg, Oregon. It's about 10 miles away. I'll check in with you guys there.
All right, as I warm up my legs through the streets of Springfield, Oregon here, I wanted to mention the Bose Strava Challenge. Now, I've partnered with Bose this year, and they have some incredible products, but what they also have are some incredible challenges. And the challenge that they've come up with is for you to run or bike 500 minutes in 1 month. I want to see every one of my subscribers out there tackle this challenge, but I, of course, am a glutton for punishment. I'm going to try to do all 500 minutes in one day.
All right. There's the first 10 miles in 40 minutes. I just keep telling myself, slow and steady wins this race, right? Like, I want to go a lot faster. You know, as a guy who used to compete for about 1 minute and 45 seconds, this is going to be a long one, but I just keep telling myself, think of it more as a really long walk or a really long hike. This is not a sprint. Bike Shark. You heard of him? Next stop, Harrisburg. Ow! God, this is gonna hurt.
I'm a retired runner. All I did for about 20 years was run as fast as I can. But now I'm really more geared toward trying to become the most well-rounded athlete I can. I want to bike farther. I want to hike farther. I want to lift more. I still want to run fast. And I feel that biking has really helped me work on maintaining my cardiovascular strength. You know, I think my favorite feature of the Bose Frames Tempo is the fact that nothing is in my ear. So while I'm listening to my favorite music or podcast, I can still hear traffic, which is an essential feature when you're out running or biking.
Well, an hour 42, 27 miles, so a little over a quarter of the way. I feel like I've really settled into a nice rhythm. Listening to a podcast, it's freaking perfect conditions out. This is that fun part when you're like on a long hike or a long run and you kind of get in the zone and you're just clicking off miles. I need this phase to last as long as possible because then the real suffering phase starts, and I need that to be as short and as far towards the end as possible. I just packed a little bit of everything. I got chips and seeds and candy bars. My nutrition strategy is pretty much just to go with whatever sounds good at the time. Back at it. My knees are already starting to get a little sore. That's not a good sign.
You know, elite athletes, they talk all the time about being in the zone. And really what that is, it's a flow state. It's almost like a meditative-like trance where all your cylinders are firing and you just feel so good. It's one of those things where you're running or you're biking and you look down and you don't even know what just happened to the last 10 or 20 minutes. That's how I feel right now. I'm hoping that it can last a long time, but sometimes your body goes through these ups and downs, in the zone, out of the zone. You have to be okay with it. You have to expect that to happen, and you have to be okay with the ups and downs.
Well, that didn't last long. So just as I started getting into my zone, I started bonking a little bit. So 2 hours and 18 minutes in, 36 miles. I just felt like I really needed some food. I really want to get to Corvallis. We're gonna get some lunch.
Before you guys light me up in the comment section for my bad diet, you gotta understand you're burning so many calories when you do something like this. I'm gonna be on this bike for maybe as many as 8 hours. I'm out here all day. When you're doing a big, audacious physical challenge like this, you have to stay ahead of the curve. So chips, candy bars, you know, things that have a ton of calories, that's what your body craves. That's what you need to be giving your body. But you better believe as soon as I get off this bike, I'm gonna find something a little more wholesome awesome, get back to my standard diet. I talk a lot about race weight, and if you guys saw my last video, I mentioned that I'm heavier now. I have to feed that muscle mass. If you guys want to learn more about finding your own target race weight, I did put up a video recently on my second channel. I'll link that in the description. You guys need to be cognizant of what your body needs to run on. It needs to run on good fuel. It needs to run on powerful fuel.
Ow. All right. Well, this is where we plan to stop for lunch. In Corvallis, we've got 50 miles in 3 hours and 11 minutes. I'm tired. Let's eat. All right, 50 miles in. My butt hurts, my legs hurt, my back hurts. Kind of the last thing I want to do right now is ride another 50 miles. But I got 3 things working in my favor. 1, I've never ridden more than 50 miles in my life, so every single mile that I ride from here on out is a new personal best, and that gets me really excited. Even as tired as I am, just the thought of hitting a new personal best or 50 new personal bests over the next 50 miles gets me amped up. Number 2, this is kind of an out and back, right? It's a big loop, but every single time I crank that pedal gets me a little bit closer to home, a little bit closer to the finish line. That gets me really excited. And last but not least, I've got performance enhancing drugs. I created Run Gum Extra Strength specifically for big, audacious goals like this. I'm about to crank into it. No! This is gonna suck. And we're back.
All right, I use the term performance enhancing drugs when referring to Run Gum. It's kind of tongue in cheek. You guys, Run Gum's just like an energy drink. It has caffeine, taurine, B vitamins. It's designed exactly for things like this. When you need a boost in energy and focus, Run Gum's lightweight. You can tuck it in your back pocket. It's there when you need it.
My back hurts, my neck hurts, my GoPro's dead. Our pets' heads are falling off. 4 hours and 15 minutes, 66 miles. 2/3 there. One thing I didn't expect was my neck to hurt so bad. You know, like I'm looking up like this the whole time. It just keeps getting pinchy, so I'm trying to just focus. It's getting hot now too. You know, when things get really tough like this, I've got a technique that I learned in mountaineering. You know, I've got 34 miles left to ride. If I think about that, that's a long ride for me. Like on a Sunday morning, I might ride 34 miles and I would consider it a long ride. So to try to do it now, it seems overwhelming. But if I take 34 miles and just wipe the slate clean and say, well, I don't have to ride 34 miles right now. I literally just need to ride another 6 miles, get to 70, be a huge accomplishment, and I can stop and get some water there. And then once I've done that, I'm gonna say, all right, all I gotta do is get to 75. So you break this big goal down into little manageable chunks. It worked for me in running. It worked for me getting my pilot's license. Guys, this is how people tackle big, audacious goals, is they break it into little bite-sized goals. So I'm gonna finish. Right now, I'm not telling myself I have to get to 100. I just have to get to 70, and that seems doable. Oh, don't make me get back on. All right. I can't even hold the bike up.
As you guys can see, the fog has burned off and we have a beautiful sunny day in the Willamette Valley here in Oregon. And I'm so grateful to have my Bose frames tempos, not only because they're blocking the wind, they're blocking the sun, but because the frames have integrated speakers that are pumping music into my ears. The neurologic pathways for pain and pleasure are very similar. And did you know that listening to music while you work out can actually numb the feeling of pain? So my butt hurts, my back hurts, but not as bad because I'm listening to some awesome music and it's keeping me pumped up on the last stretches of this very, very difficult ride.
All right, 5 hours in, 75 miles. Now I just want to go lay in that pumpkin patch. God, this is hard. Where's Cam Hanes when you need him? Keep hammering. I have a feeling once I get back to Eugene, like when I'm at 90, like a horse going back to the barn, when he sees that barn, I'm just gonna frickin' take off and the last 10 will take care of themselves. But just like in a mile, the last lap's not the hardest one, it's the third lap that's the hardest one. That's where you really have to be mentally tough. I can just get back to Eugene, just get to 90 miles. Those last 10 will take care of themselves, so let's ride.
Speaking of big goals, another one that we have set, that Ryan and I have set for the year, is to get to 300,000 subscribers. This is Ryan's big goal, our videographer, Ryan Ewart. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We have some incredible videos coming in the next 2 months.
Ryan, can we just stop already and go for a swim? 6 hours, 90 miles. There's literally nothing that could stop me right now. Like, you could chop my leg off and I'll put a tourniquet on and I'll keep riding with one leg. Like, I'm going to finish this. And one of the nice things is that I am back in Eugene, so I'm like on familiar territory. Let's kick to the finish line. Here we go.
How freaking gorgeous is my hometown of Eugene, Oregon, you guys? If you want to come out to Eugene, whether it's for the pre-classic or the NCAA championships or the Olympic trials or even a Nick Symmonds track classic, make sure you shoot me a DM on Instagram. I love meeting up with my fans. We often go for runs. We often meet up for races. Follow me on Instagram at Nick Symmonds. I appreciate each and every one of you. There you have me. I'm sprinting for the finish line, you guys. Less than a mile to go. I turn the corner and there is Run Gum HQ in sight. It feels so freaking good to tackle my big, audacious goal for 2020.
Wow. Oh no. There we go. 101.2 in 6 hours and 40 minutes. Oh. All right, that's a wrap. I'll tell you guys what, it always feels so freaking good to get one of your goals, especially a big, audacious goal that scares you. And this one, to ride 100 miles, I'll tell you what, it scared me. I pushed it off and pushed it off and pushed it off. Shout out to Bose for the incentive for lighting a fire underneath me. But Ryan, the challenge wasn't to ride a 100-miler. And the challenge wasn't to ride for 400 minutes. It was to ride for 500 minutes. I got another 100 minutes to go. I'll see you guys next week.